We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is April 6, 2026. Or is it May? I think it's May. It's pretty bad. It's May. January, February, March, April. Yeah. I'm trying. Sorry I've been missing for a couple days. I've just been busy with life, like you guys know. Been working on getting a car. So that, and I've been working and trying to figure out rides to work. It sucks because if I'm off, Sammy's at work. If Sammy's at work, I'm off. So like, going to get a car is going to be difficult. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, I will send you a bumper sticker and a signed bookmark. Unless you don't want it signed, you can hit me up in the comments. These stickers are really durable. I had one on my car. It had been snowed on, rained on, sun beating down on it, held up. My wife's got one on a coffee mug. That coffee mug's been washed 1 billion times, and it's still holding up. So, as far as updates, that's about it, man. Just been work, home, doing chores, reading Hour of the Pumpkin Queen. I may do a book review on this whenever I finish reading it. I haven't really been in a gaming mood. If you guys know, I have another podcast, Blue Pill Podcast, where I just do non-conspiracy stuff. So I may do a book review episode on that book, but sorry, I just haven't been in a gaming mood, so I know people are usually used to my game reviews on it. But, update, though, for the channel. So, if you're listening on Spotify, I recently, let me pull it up, look at this. It's on YouTube, but some of my listeners are on Spotify, so look at that. Congrats on this milestone for Conspiracy Corner Podcast. You have reached 10,000 streams and downloads. So I just wanted to say thank you to my Spotify listeners. I'm super grateful. And I'm not trying to bash like my YouTube listeners or my Rumble listeners, but Spotify, it's looking like I'm going to have the most chance to get monetized and be able to grow the channel, be able to, I don't know, kind of have this as a side job instead of just like a passion project, which, I mean, I'm still going to podcast probably till the day I die, whether I make money off of it or not. I would just like for it to break even, because a lot of people don't see how much money you put into a podcast until you actually do it. But I wanted to thank all my Spotify listeners. I'm very grateful because I've almost been kicked off of YouTube multiple times. I'm shadow banned on YouTube. And I'm grateful too because I try to get people who are YouTube listeners to get off of YouTube and start supporting other platforms like Rumble and Spotify. It's like pulling teeth. Which it's crazy too, because I'll look through comment sections of other people's videos and they're like, oh, where have you been? And it's like they got their channel got deleted, or they got too many strikes and they can't post anymore. Or permanent strikes, which aren't supposed to happen. Strikes are supposed to roll off, but YouTube likes to mess with people. And I tell people, I'm like, go over to these other sites because they're still out there. They're on Rumble, they're on Spotify, it's like pulling teeth though, man. People, for some reason, I don't know what it is, people love YouTube, man, and I don't get it because Rumble does the exact same thing as YouTube, but there's no censorship, so I don't get it. It's confusing. Spotify too, I say whatever the fuck I want on Spotify. I've never had an issue on Spotify. I had one issue on Spotify one time, and what it wasn't even Spotify. It was because I was using a song by MIA, and MIA did content. They were like, hey, no, you can't use our song in your intro. That was it. That was the one issue, and that's not even Spotify's fault. So I wouldn't be doing it here without you all. YouTube and Spotify and Rumble listeners. I don't want you thinking you're left out if you're on YouTube. Because what's the point in podcasting if no one's listening? So to me, it was just amazing. It made my day to see 10,000 streams and downloads. That was fucking awesome. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you for tuning in and share with your friends. If you know people you think who would like my content, share it with them, But let's get on with the show. So I got 2 stories. We may get to both of them, who knows. This is a recent story. This was May 5th, so literally yesterday. A model who said she fought off Jeffrey Epstein with a sex toy found safe after family reported her missing. So I heard about this yesterday, and I didn't realize that they had found her yet because I just tuned back in. I like to come in with a natural reaction to things, but yesterday the big news was this chick went missing. It's her name Elisabetta Farretto. Here's a picture of her. She's fucking smoking hot, dude. Jesus Christ, girl. YouTube's gonna age restrict it now. Maybe, I don't know. Luke Radowski, I think, showed the same picture, and I think she was alright. So yesterday, and I haven't heard this update yet. Like I said, I like to come in with a natural reaction. Yesterday she was missing, and supposedly she fought off Jeffrey Epstein. I know it sounds crazy, with a sex toy, which is just absurd. That sounds like something you would hear out of a Hunter S. Thompson novel or something. Somebody beating the fuck out of somebody with a dildo or something, or something out of GTA. Once everyone heard the Epstein connection, they're like, oh, this bitch is dead. Supposedly she lives in Italy, and she basically came over here on vacation and shit, and a lot of people were thinking, oh, she got kidnapped, she got unalived. I don't know. So let's get into it. Former model and victim of Jeffrey Epstein, who recounted fighting off the perv with a sex toy, has been found after reports that she went missing in New York City. I wonder what kind of sex toy it was. And yes, it does. It is relevant because if you look at the Epstein files, when they it wasn't even the Epstein files yet. The files hadn't even been released, but it was that photo shoot that happened right before the files got released. It was his island home, I believe. Yeah, and a whole crew went in, took all these photos. They released the photos, and there was one of the drawers there was like 2 or 3 Hitachi wands. So I wonder if she bonked him with a Hitachi wand rather than like a dildo or something. Hitachi wand's got some girth on it. It'd be like a little nightstick, you know, like sorry. Elisabetta Farretto, who is 50 years old now, sparked alarm after she suddenly stopped contacting her family on April 22nd. Italian outlet 2 Mattino di Padova reported. I wonder, so she's 50 years old. There's no way she's 50 in this photo. I mean, if she is, like, Jesus Christ, girl. If she's 50 in that photo, that's you know, I don't know, maybe I'm just because I'm getting older, but I have noticed that I've been attracted to older women now lately because I'm 34. So I'm like, I'll see a 40-year-old and I'm like, you know, but like if you would have asked me like 10 years ago, I would have been like, ew, you know. The Italian-born fashionista has been in New York since 2001, was one of the first women to accuse pedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein of sexual abuse. At the start of April, I do love that they're saying pedophile right there too. A lot of these articles, man, you read them and they're like, I don't know, they're like being all soft about it. Like they'll call him a disgraced financier. For some reason, they are so terrified of saying pedophile. So like, mad respect to this article, New York Post, for like saying like, hey, like, yeah, this dude's a fucking chomo, you know. You just don't see that a lot. Everyone's been whitewashing everything, which it makes sense because, I mean, look who their bosses are. At the start of April, she flew from the U.S. to Veneto in northeastern Italy to visit her parents and brother before returning to New York later that month. Until April 22nd, she had stayed in daily contact with her family, especially her elderly mother back in Italy. Would they say she was 50 years old? So if she was 50, yeah, that means her mama, which Italy, I'm guessing they probably make babies young. So her mama had to have been at least 60 something, you know, maybe 70. She would have been around like 68 or 66. Like if, let's say she had her at 16, you know. Yeah, at least she's probably like 70. But when she stopped answering calls and appeared to have deactivated her social media, her panicked relatives reported her missing. That is sketchy right there. It's one thing to not answer calls, to ghost people, because look, man, I got mental illness, and if I don't feel right, I will cut myself off from the world. And it's not forever, but I may like not talk to someone who I love for like 3 or 4 days, you know. Usually after day 3 or 4, I'm like, okay, I start getting my shit back together mentally. I'm like, hey, I'll talk to you. Like, I'm going through some shit. My brain, you know, my fucking brain, dude, because I have ups and downs. Ow. Did you all hear that? I have MDD, so, like, you guys know I already struggle with that shit. It is what it is. So, I get that, but, like, cutting off social media, that's fucking weird. Like, deactivating it, that would be, like, that's when you know something is really bad in my life. If I were to delete my YouTube channel or delete my Spotify account, because I have like over 600 episodes on here. So if you ever see that, something bad is going on. Either YouTube just said, fuck this guy, or I'm on the run from like the Illuminati or something, or I have like done something crazy, like, or something horrible has happened, because there would be no way I would do it. It would have to be like some crazy ass mental breakdown. Like, and I've had psychosis and still have never deleted my shit. So that's weird. The Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs working in partnership with U.S. authorities, confirmed that Farretto had been found safe in the United States. News of her safe discovery was reported by the Carabinieri, Italy's military police force, on Tuesday. Italian newspaper Tu Messaggero reported. So here's a photo. I'm not sure. It just says Farretto was one of the first women to accuse pedophile Jeffrey Epstein of sexual abuse. I'm not sure if Farretto is one of these girls. Clearly victims, hence why they are redacted, even though in the files they've been redacted. People who aren't victims. Yeah, I mean, they look like younger girls. They look like teenagers. Law enforcement sources told the Post they have no record of a missing persons report for Farretto in the Big Apple. That doesn't mean anything. Her family's from Italy. So, first of all, it's an older couple, too. Like, they're old people from Italy. They barely speak English. Like, yeah, it was probably hard for them to make a report. That's probably why they maybe have tried, but, you know. So, Farretto opened up about her chilling experience with Epstein in an interview with the Post in 2019. The ex-model said her booker sent her to Epstein's Manhattan townhouse in 2004, claiming the meeting would change her life by getting her a job as a Victoria's Secret model. I don't know if she ever became a model, but she definitely could be. With her body was rocking, dude. But instead of a professional meeting, the disgraced Finance Street big shot started undressing in front of her and moving toward a massage table. Okay, dude, I'm going to have to do a whole episode on it one day. I dated a girl when I was younger. Her name was Natalie. I won't say her last name just out of respect. She was into modeling, and she was underage. We were like 13, maybe 14 years old. And there was some shady shit that happened with her. So I have a little bit of an insight on the modeling industry from dating one while I was underage and she was underage. There's some creepy shit that goes on, and this was down in Florida. Her mom was from Panama. Her dad was a Vietnam vet. It was some shady shit going on, and she would call me and be like, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a model. My mom's forcing me to do it. They're making me get naked in front of like rooms full of guys. Like, it was bad, like weird shit. I'll do a whole episode on it. So I already know since I was a kid how creepy the modeling industry is. But even still, like, let's say this Farretto, she wanted to become a model. There's nothing wrong with that, because I've done modeling. With me and my ex-wife, we did a little bit of modeling. I've done a couple modeling gigs. Never for money, but I did kind of start building a profile. I had a manila folder, and it was like my modeling photos, and the reason I did it was because I wanted to, like, just in case as a side job one day, you know, I was supposed to do some modeling in Harrodsburg and shit, like, here recently. So, it's kind of a nice way to make a little extra money. Photographers like to do it. I like to do it. Like, it's just, it's neat, you know? So I've done modeling a little bit. Never anything, like, super professional or super crazy, but, yeah, the modeling in itself is not evil, you know? It's not bad. So, like, with the conspiracy community, there's so much toxicity and so much throwing stone in glass houses. It's just like everyone is always quick to jump to, like, the darkest conclusion, and it's like it's not always the darkest conclusion. Some people just want to be a model. I mean, I have a little girl, and she was always like, do I look pretty, Daddy? And she'd put on a princess crown or some outfit or something, Yes, you look beautiful. That's just part of having a little girl. I don't know why I feel like I have to say this, but it is what it is. So it sucks, man. I feel bad because that would be like, dude, I was unemployed for like 4 months last year and the year before. Like, it was 2 months, 2 or 3 months each. So about 4 or 5 months I was unemployed. It's hard as fuck to get a job. So it would suck to go to a place and they're like, yeah, we'll hire you. And then they just close the office door and unzip their pants and they're like, all right, suck my dick. It would be horrible. And sadly, desperate people do desperate things, All right, anyways. But instead of a professional meeting, he started moving towards the massage table. Quote, I thought he was preparing to have a massage and that someone was about to come in the room and give him a massage, Farretto said. So she's just like, yeah, dude's about to get a massage. Like, okay, I guess I'll just keep having this meeting and talking with him. Epstein then told her to come closer and handed her a sex toy. Farretto froze and then grabbed the vibrator and threw it at his head, she recalled. Okay, so it was a vibrator. Not a dildo, not a... I don't know, vibrator. Could have been that Hitachi, man. He was known for those Hitachis, dude. Like, all over his house, if you go look at those photos, there was Hitachi wands everywhere. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's actually a whole history of Hitachi wands, which is kind of funny. They're actually supposed to be back massagers. So, yeah. It's got like a ball on the end and it vibrates. I've never used one. I don't know. My wife, like, if she does use a toy or something, it's like a bullet, like a little tiny little, little guy. Just for like clitoral action. But they actually, it's funny, they originally made them for back massages. And women were buying them like crazy because they were using them like for massaging their clits, and yeah, like, it blew up. It became super popular, super famous, and like all these men were like, man, she keeps wearing out these Hitachi wands, her back must be sore, No, that's not what they're using it for. But yeah, Epstein was a huge fan of them, man. Sorry. We gotta have fun here. You gotta laugh to keep from crying, Epstein then told her to come closer and handed her a sex toy. She then froze, grabbed the vibrator, and threw it at his head. I'm just gonna say it's a Hitachi. Fake news. I don't know where it landed. I just blacked out, and then I ran as fast as I could out of the room. So that right there is definitely an adrenaline response of like blacking out and just off like that. That's like fight or flight, dude. And she did both, fight and flight. I gotta keep an eye on the time. I'm waiting on an Uber. As a panic-stricken Farretto tried to flee the sex criminal's lair, she remembered being grabbed by a woman who resembled Ghislaine Maxwell with short black hair, who demanded to know what she was doing. I guarantee you that was Ghislaine. Short black hair. What are you doing? Where are you going? She told me that I couldn't just leave. She said that this man is important, that he is a friend of President Clinton, she said. So, there's the encounter with Miss, what was her name, Moretto? Let's see. Forgive me. Yeah, Farretto. Elisabetta Farretto. So I guess that would be the equivalent of like Elizabeth. There's the encounter, but supposedly she's found safe. Here's the thing though. This is where I find this fishy. I want to see a photo or an interview And I don't see it on here. I mean, I could probably dig around. I don't know if you guys want to do your own research on it. Possibly digging around, checking it out. If you guys can find any evidence, like a news clip, interview, photo of her that she's safe and sound, because the news, we already know, like Operation Mockingbird, it's the propaganda arm of the elites. We already know how shady the news is. So, like, if you have any evidence that this chick is still alive, like, I would love to see it, because I don't trust the fucking news. But I wanted to report on this. I had never even heard of this woman's case. I'd never heard of this victim before in my life until yesterday. Shout out to Luke Radowski, by the way. He's the one who I heard it from first. I'd never even heard of this story or this victim. Crazy shit. I feel bad for the girl that happened to her. In a weird way, I know this sounds bad, and I hope no one judges me for it, but I'm glad that she didn't, that was the least of her victimization, was just of like, okay, she's seen his egg dick. He handed her a sex toy. I'm glad she stood up for herself, threw it at his head, and ran out the door. She got accosted by Maxwell, but, you know, because there's a lot of stories that I've heard, and footage, unfortunately, like the one girl who was tied up and he was holding allegedly it was Epstein. I don't fucking know. I don't have to say allegedly. He's dead, remember? And it's Epstein, like, burning her with a magnifying glass, and she's butt naked and probably underage, which, by the way, these Epstein files, listen to how sloppy they've been doing. So, I had seen that video years ago, back on BitChute, and it was released with the Epstein files. So the video resurfaced. They were putting out literal cheese pizza because they were so sloppy on redacting and stuff, and they were so sloppy on releasing the files that they were literally putting out CP when the files first came out. So, like, while I'm pouring through the files and shit, like, I'm running across cheese pizza, like, which it's not a crime to see it, but it's a crime to download it. Thankfully, I didn't download any of it, but it's the fucking point. Like, that is how sloppy the Kash Patel and Pam Bondi fucking, well, she's out now, but we reported on that. But, like, that is how sloppy the FBI is doing with this shit. And by the way, we haven't even got it all yet. We're still haven't got it all yet. Everyone's talking about aliens and UFOs, and I know I report on it here lately. I've been reporting on it more, but I've been reporting more on, like, Wilcock and the scientists going missing and shit, because to me that is weird. It needs to be talked about. But we're going to dive more into the Epstein stuff probably within the next week. We're going to be doing more episodes on Epstein because to me this is the most important thing in the conspiracy community right now. I know everyone's excited about the UFO stuff, but I personally think that's a distraction. I think we should be focusing more on this. To me it's more important. But let's see. We'll check this real quick. I don't think I have any polls. Let me check my on Spotify because I usually like to read polls if I got a minute or two. I think all the polls are poll results. Oh, people have been voting like crazy. Okay. So, last one we left off on is, would you become an exorcist? 100% of people said yes, and I do agree with them. Being an exorcist, I'm not Catholic, but it would be a dope-ass fucking job. We're going to do a whole poll reading maybe next episode because people have been voting like crazy on Spotify. If you're on Spotify, vote in the polls because I love seeing it. Love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. I got to go to work here in a little bit. Hope y'all enjoyed. I will try to podcast as much as I can. When I get off of work today, I got to start car hunting. Oh, God. I hope not. I got to start car hunting. Wish me luck. Hopefully I don't buy a dud, but I've found a couple that are around the $2,000 range, so that'll be cool. I just can't afford $8,000 to put a transmission in that Cadillac. I've already put one in before, and it was like $3,000, but that was 6 years ago, and now it's $8,000. Thanks, Donald Trump. Thanks for the tariffs. Love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Y'all have a good day.